3.
Second down. Pump fake. Plummer now goes end zone. Great catch. Touchdown.
1997, unbeaten Arizona State versus Ohio State.
Arizona State, almost unstoppable, on their way to winning a national championship. And they get there and they run into a team like Ohio State with Boston and Jermaine. Jake the Snake Plummer should have no problem with it.
But Ohio State, usually known for its running attack, had a new weapon that year, a passing game. Backup quarterback Joe Germain's touchdown pass in the third quarter gave the Buckeyes a 14-10 lead.
72-yard touchdown.
It looked like Ohio State had killed them and killed the team's prospects for a victory.
Plummer.
The Sun Devils rallied late, and when Plummer scored on an 11-yard run, Arizona State had regained the lead at 17-14.
This team won't die.
A minute 40 to go. Arizona State is going to win the national title.
The Buckeyes have only one timeout left and 1:33.
Joe Germain is not going to be taking Ohio State against a national championship defense down the field.
Got it to Stanley. That's a first down.
Well, they're moving, but
Germain got him again.
they're down to the 20, but Joe Germain's not going to.
Germain gonna throw it wide open. Got him.
Oh, yes, he is. Ohio State wins 20-17.
When it counted, Joe Germain stepped up and showed the leadership that made the difference.
That's what big games are all about. That was good stuff, you know. I mean, that's what the Rose Bowl is all about.
2.
1963, number 1 USC versus number 2 Wisconsin.
The 1963 game is a book all by itself. Ron Vanderkellen and Pete Bethard hooked up, and the dadgumdest gunfights you've ever seen in your life.
Just mano a mano, wide open, throwing it every down in a way I don't think we'd ever seen before.
Nobody threw for 400 yards in 1963. There were teams probably didn't throw the ball 400 yards in a season.
This was the first matchup in a bowl game between number 1 and number 2. John McKay's Trojans built a 42-14 lead, sparked by Pete Bethard's 4 touchdown passes. But Wisconsin was rallied by Ron Vanderkellen, who would throw for 401 yards.
It was kind of a murky, gray day. The haze was coming down off the San Gabriels, and the footing wasn't all it could have been.
They didn't have any lights. And as the game got darker, Wisconsin kept coming and scored and scored and scored.
Ron Vanderkellen brought Wisconsin back. Momentum.
USC had allowed 55 points in 10 games. And these guys scored 23 in one quarter.
When Vanderkellen hooked up with Pat Richter late in the fourth quarter, the Badgers were down 42-37. But USC held on and won the national championship.
The clock just ran out on Wisconsin. If Vanderkellen had another chance, we might be talking about the greatest bowl game ever.
1.
The 2006 Rose Bowl, without a doubt, one of the greatest games in any sport you'll ever see.
2006, number 1 USC versus number 2 Texas.
In for the 40-45. Young in midfield. He breaks loose down the sideline. Just to the 30. And inside the 25 and down to the 20.
That game transcended college football because here was USC coming off the 2 straight national championships. If they beat Texas, they are the greatest college football team of all time.
Entering the game, USC and Texas held the 2 longest active win streaks at 34 and 19, respectively. The Trojans featured back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, while the Longhorns had the 2005 runner-up Vince Young.
We definitely felt like, you know, if we came out and played like we knew how, we were going to blow this team away.
Instead, the first half was a whirlwind of turnovers and controversial plays as Texas led 16-10 at the break.
Looked like he might have been down, didn't it, King?
Yeah, he did to me. I thought he was.
In a back-and-forth second half, the Trojans took a 38-26 lead with 6:42 to play.
Jarrett, touchdown.
I think that's when we let our guard down. Once we went up by 12, we just said, okay, it's the way it's supposed to be rolling. The game's over.
No one on our sideline thought that 12 was too much. We just had to score.
touchdown.
It seemed like he was the only player on the field at times. He was just able to do it whatever he wanted that night.
Young's touchdown pulled Texas to within 5.
Lendell White's in there. He's the power back. He didn't get it.
After a defensive stop on 4th and 2, Young drove his team down the field, and with 26 ticks left on the clock,
4th and 5, the national championship on the line right here. He's going for the corner. He's got it.
I think we underestimated not what Texas can do, but I think we underestimated what Vince Young can do.
Texas has defeated Southern California 41-38.
the MVP ended the game with 267 yards passing, 200 yards rushing, and 3 scores.
I think Texas deserved it. Hands down, they beat us fair and square, and Vince Young single-handedly beat us.
I wanted to do my best and my will to give it all I got for my teammates and my coaches and fans to get a victory.
You want to call it athletic, you want to call it great quarterbacking, call it whatever you want to call it. The guy played one of the best games anybody has ever played in the history of the game.
Hey, thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more scores, highlights, and analysis, you can download the ESPN app. You've got the ESPN app, right?
Honestly, on Saturdays for college football fans, if you don't have the ESPN app, that's the lifeline for every college football fan. So you have to have that. The live streaming now, ESPN Plus. To me, it's the only way to go.
ESPN Plus was key for me recently. Got to get ESPN Plus. Arkansas State, Troy, down to the wire.
Loving it.
Superdog winner. Thanks to ESPN Plus.